All right, welcome everyone to the Kubeflow Pipelines community meeting. Today's date is July 16th, Wednesday, 2025. This meeting is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct. The meeting is recorded and will be uploaded to the Kubeflow YouTube account after the call has ended. Um, so as usual, we always start with introductions for any new call attendees. So if you are new to the call and you would like to introduce yourself, the floor is open. I recognize all these names, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going so we have Alex that is back, although he's not able to join this call. He is at Summit right now, but he has returned, so that's an additional maintainer. He became maintainer right as soon as he had to go for parental leave. Oh, he's here. Why don't I? Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's here now. So welcome back, Alex. I don't know if you want to say something.
Yeah, hey, thanks, man. Um, so I'm at the Jacob Javits Convention Center. I don't know what I'm connecting to my phone. I don't know if how solid my connection is, but um, I guess I'll just say hi and to anyone I haven't met. It's nice to meet you, and I look forward to reviewing your PRs, approving your PRs, helping move the project along, and yeah, excited to be a part of this.
Awesome. Welcome back. We are ready to put you to work. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of partially. All right. Uh, so as always, a reminder that V1 will be sunsetted at the end of this year. I see some discussions that are happening on the side there, so I'll just kind of echo Julius's points. We are aware of the vulnerabilities that exist regarding the MLMD exposures that have been around for like a couple of years now. So we will be prioritizing them to have them, and we have listed those as a requirement for sunsetting V1. Um, and if it comes down to it having us delay the release, we will do that. So it's not a hard fast rule. We want to make sure that we're giving folks ample amount of time and the right context to switch from V1 to V2. So it is a priority. I've listed also it as a reminder going forward, so I'll continue to remind folks about this. And yes, of course, the Seaweed FSPR is top of mind as well. I've linked some folks to that PR that are taking a look at it as well, just from the reviewers side of things from Gitful Pipelines. Once I see some acknowledgements from them, I am also going to skim through it and take a look, and I'll be happy to merge once all of that is done. So. Any questions regarding that? Okay. Um, so I would also like to nominate two folks from the community to maintainer status. So the first one is Matt Brawl, and the second one is Michael Zazula. So both of these individuals have been very involved in the community, and they have been responsible for reviewing various PRs. They're approvers and multiple components of Kubeflow pipelines. And so I'm very happy to nominate them. And yeah, so the floor is open for any dissenting voices, I guess, and any pros or any other additional comments.
So, not that I'm a dissenting voice. I think I'm strongly in support of it. I think maybe asking on a call might not leave people comfortable dissenting. So maybe
There will
we
be a PR. So we always make a PR for adding folks as approver to the root of the repository. So that we'll keep that open for like a week. I'll link it as one of the linked items here. So if you feel like you have thoughts, whether you're sponsoring it, you approve it, whatever, you can leave those comments there. You can also DM me if you want, if you really are feel uncomfortable speaking publicly about it. So um, feel free to do all of that. I agree with Alex. We'll probably have to make it a requirement for Matt to play one of his or his guitar. Maybe maybe do a band with Julio. Do you guys have anything you would like to say? Michael, Matt.
Just it's been great working with everyone. Appreciate all of the collaboration over the last 7 months that I've been working on the project. Sorry for all of these design docs that I keep writing and not helping to implement. So I'll try to help more on the implementation moving forward. But yeah, thanks again and honored to be nominated.
Yeah, I would echo the same. I don't know if you guys can actually hear me, but I'm like using Zoom on my phone.
We can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm using like Zoom on my phone at the Javits Center. So, yeah, just everyone that contributes, it's been great. You guys are awesome collaborators. It's it's very fun working. It's like we're on a team. We just don't work for the same company, but it's like very different feeling. But yeah, no, excited to be able to help out even more now.
Awesome. Any other thoughts, comments before we move on? All right, Mr. Nominee Michael, I have a topic for you that relates to you. So we have a API breaking change right now that's in master branch for the SDK. This is pertaining to, and I linked to the PR here. This is pertaining to the changes that went in for adding the support for setting task name. I am pro the change. Obviously, the change is very useful, and I'm super happy, Michael, that you made it. The unfortunate consequence of the way it is today is that if I was to compile a pipeline, I will not be able to submit that pipeline for any previous Kubeflow pipelines, previous release. I spoke with Alex before about this as well. I'm even though we're doing version alignments, so we will be saying that like the next minor version of the SDK is compatible, it's guaranteed compatibility with the minor of the backend, right? So if that's like 2.14 SDK, then 2.14 should work with the 2. Backend. The I think the fact of the matter is that like the SDK just gets, people are more likely to upgrade the SDK than they are going to upgrade the backend, since it is just a Python package. So I think that we should continue to maintain backwards compatibility for the SDK, right? And this is a pretty big, to the best of our ability, right? I think most projects, when they follow somewhere, they do it to the best of their ability. For example, Argo, they make no promises, but they will address it, and they've been very willing to address like backward compatibility breakages that happen. So I think we should do the same here and continue to do that as a policy. And yeah, so any thoughts around that?
No, it totally makes sense. I Alex actually spoke to me about it a bit briefly this morning. I'm pretty sure there's handles that I could put in place that could, address it, where it shouldn't be an issue if it's a different version that's hitting the back end.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can we can easily make this backwards compatible, for sure. I was just kind of bringing it up as like a point of like policy. I don't think we're writing this down anymore. We should, so I'll take that action item. And the second thing is testing. Like this wasn't caught, right? So Nilesh, are you in this call? He is not. Okay. I'll bother Nilesh about it. So but we should be catching this stuff in CI, which means you're probably not doing sufficient upgrade testing. And that's problematic. If you're gonna make such a like a policy, then I think we should be making sure that we're testing for such a policy. I think like testing for just the previous release is sufficient. Matt?
Yeah, I don't have the full context of this, but I guess how bad is the breaking change?
Every
And
pipeline.
okay, so it seems to me like we probably should consider reverting it and then talk about a path forward.
Yeah, I'll yield to Michael on how fast you think you can provide a fix. We are like 2 weeks away from prepping release and releasing the next release. So if we can't get it fixed in that time frame, my preference is to revert.
Yeah, I think it's very doable. we could just have the field default to the actual there was a name. So there's a new attribute in the pipeline spec called task name. So essentially, if that doesn't exist in in the actual pipeline IR, then we could just default to the original name value. And I think that should be fine as a handle for the backend driver, as well as I think the front end does a check for that display name too. But yeah, if we have to go the route of like reverting it, you know, we if that's like the safer route, like, you know, to do that first, I'm on board with it. But yeah, when I get back to when I get out of this center, I can actually you know, dive into it and just do some more testing and try to open a PR to address the breaking change.
Yeah, it'd be great to still get it before within this release if you have the bandwidth for it. But if you can do the
Yeah.
revert PR, that would be nice. Just ping me.
Yeah.
Okay, so action item. Michael to revert. How do we catch these in the future at PR stage? I don't know, N-1 version. Do we feel like that's sufficient? At least starting out.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, I'm gonna tag Nilesh on this. I actually think N-1 is all that's needed because you're just testing
Yeah.
if the one before that was tested for backwards compatibility, you're fine. But anyways, Andre, are you here?
Yeah, hi guys. Can you hear me?
Okay, you have the next topic.
Yeah, let's maybe quickly talk about it. Happy to see all of you here. Yes, I think yesterday we a little bit talked about the Kubeflow pipelines and our road towards graduation. Just for the context, for the last I think half a year we've been working towards CNCF graduation, and one of the tasks for us as a community to ensure that all the Kubeflow projects achieve OpenSSF badge. So this is the batch actually checks like how do you follow the security best practices, the community best practices, etc. So basically we require for all the 6 Kubeflow projects to at least get the passing grade. And I want to speak a little bit about the Kubeflow pipelines because yesterday we discussed whether there are any blockers for OpenSSF. And it looks like I know there is a work going on to remove V1, right? And migrate to V2. But I'm like curious, like, do we have any kind of blockers for us to achieve this badge as fast as we can for KFP? And maybe say some of the work that you do to upgrade the packages are in progress, right? Uh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, where does the relevance for the sunsetting of V1 come into here, place here?
Yeah, like for example, publicly known vulnerabilities, right? I know KFP has all the dependencies, and some of those dependencies are really hard to upgrade, especially in V1. So the question is like, can we, like, is it a blocker for us to say that we met this requirement?
I see. For V1, specifically in this case. Well, we're working towards having
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think the question is like how we determine the project of Kubeflow pipelines, right? For example, for training cooperative, we didn't do any analysis for training cooperative V1, right? But for KFP, kind of more complex because you're storing V1 and V2 under the single SDK, right?
Alex, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah. So I think first of all, we're like actively working on a story to address CVEs in the V1 SDK. So once that story is complete, the CI will be like retrofit to be compatible with the V1 SDK, and then upgrading other dependencies to resolve vulnerabilities will be a lot easier going forward. I think I see the temptation. Like it would be really nice to just delete anything V1 related. And now we would have to worry about a much smaller footprint in terms of CVEs. But that's not going to, I think that's not going to provide sufficient runway to meet the commitment of supporting V1 till end of year. So it really has to do with like timelines, like what the CNCF expectations are. And does that align with our timeline? And if it doesn't, then maybe we have to prioritize some like dependency upgrades in V1, other than just the one high CV that I'm currently addressing.
I think that we have, so while we're sunsetting V1, we are claiming support for the last version that will have V1 APIs for extended 6 additional months at a minimum, is what we've decided.
So I'm just curious, so
Mhm.
upgrading those dependencies in V1, what kind of the problem is right now to do it? Like, is it because we have some dependency issues there?
Yeah, well, right now the main problem is the fact that since the last V1 release of the SDK, CI was completely overhauled and is no longer executing on Prow and is targeting a V2 code base as opposed to a V1 code base. So the upgraded CI basically needs to be retrofit to be compatible with V1. But once that's complete, I think all future dependency upgrades with anything V1 related should be easier, because we'll have comprehensive testing to validate any changes in CI. Basically, right now CI doesn't work on V1 stuff,
I
at
mean,
least on the SDK side. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, when we talk about V1, there's like, I think, different parts to it. So like you have V2 that supports V1 APIs, and then you have a V1, like only V1, right? That you deploy V1 backend, V1 UI, V1 SDK, right? If you're talking about CVEs for V1, like vanilla V1, that is, I'm gonna guess there's like a crap ton of CVEs there. We would have to do scanning. Right now it's just not actively maintained. And so like Alex, I think you're looking at the SDK
Yeah,
side,
because
right?
there's no reason to use the V1 API since the V2 API is
Yeah,
backwards compatible. So I don't know why anybody would. I don't think we have any
yeah.
kind of obligation with older versions of the API.
So we should just consider that defunct, right? Like you can
Yeah.
you because it is backwards compatible. Like the V2 is backwards compatible with V1. So let's cross that out. So basically, we're just talking about the V1 SDK then, right? Okay. So, and we have a commitment there coming. So Alex, you said that you guys are working on it. So now it's just a question of timelines, right? So
Yes. Yeah, so I guess like so how much work is required there, Alex? Like how many dependencies do we need to upgrade? So at least not fix all the CVs, right? But the critical one, right? Because this is what, passing by batch is required, right?
critical and
Yeah.
high, right?
Mm.
So
At the moment, we only see our scanning tools, which we're using Mend under the hood. We're only seeing one eye, and that's the protobuf version. And frankly, it's ranked as high, but it shouldn't be because it's a vulnerability that is essentially like overflowing recursion in Python. That's not really applicable to the SDK because it's not a server-side library. But SecOps people don't care. It's either high or it's not, right?
what's
So
the
that's the only
tool?
one that's
Yeah.
the tool that we use to scan.
Yeah,
We use Mend.
Mend, MEND.
Yeah. And
Okay.
mend.io is their website. I'll drop a link. We probably should incorporate, and I think I saw that's on the list of this badge, the Kubeflow pipelines badge requirements. One of the action items is to incorporate static code analysis
Yeah.
in the repo. So we probably should leverage that in our CI as well, so that this doesn't come from end users. Like we kind of identify it at root. Um, but yeah, I think there's only one high right now, and I'm actively addressing, at least according to our skinny tools, and like we're actively addressing that. So, and once that is addressed, all future upgrades are going to be a lot easier because we actually have functional CI on the V1 SDK.
Yeah. When do we need to have a so is it 100% passing that we need for the best practices, Andre?
Yeah, passing is required, right? So at least like you have a silver badge and gold badge, but at least passing is required for gradation. I'm
Yeah.
curious, like so what tools mode registry folks are using? Do we know? Um,
For static analysis, you mean?
yeah, for static analysis.
Static analysis, we have, for example, for Python, we use RAF, and I think that we linked in our badge a couple of example of the rules that we can incorporate. And then we just have standard Go toolings for as well for Go. One of the key aspect that at least I found helpful for the badge for the still in the analysis section when it speaks about dynamic code analysis. So there is actually a very interesting Linux Foundation course that sort of like highlights that here by dynamic analysis, they also include testing. So means like unit testing, integration testing, and this sort of thing. Because when I went through the badge the first time, personally, I was under the impression like, oh, dynamic code analysis is only fuzzers or this kind of like fancy tools. But actually, it's like if you have your code in motion, sort of like you check with the requirements that you meet of the badge, most of the unit integration testing and end-to-end testing will satisfy the badge. For the static code analysis for Go and Python, we are just using standard ones. I can also give you a link to what we mentioned there.
Yeah, I
In
think
ter
so. Yeah, go for Simon.
Yeah, I think we can identify a tool. There's like many out there. Like there's also tools like Snick. GitHub also does scanning. The problem is the requirement is here to run it on releases, which I don't think we can do that via GitHub on a specific branch.
We also use dependabot, right? Like which you know.
Yeah, that it's yeah, I guess it does an analysis. This using GitHub analysis, I guess, to and then makes a dependabot PR based off of it. So that I think GitHub security scans probably count as static analysis because it's identifying vulnerabilities on like the code, and it's doing it for all the languages and everything.
So
But
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
well, the so dependabot we didn't list it in the badge. At least we didn't find that fitted. One thing that also I noticed is that I think that one of the action when Julius enabled the responsible disclosure for the repo, now I get also GitHub code graph something. So it's like that also does some static analysis on your repositories along with the dependencies of the CVs.
Okay.
But I'm not familiar with the tool and I was not having it at the time that I finished the badge.
I think we don't need to figure out the tool in this call. We can do that offline. I think what I would be interested to know are timelines. So when are you looking, like what is
So
comfortable?
ideally, so just for information, right? Like ideally, we want to start application this week. I understand like it takes time. Like some of the things can be done in progress. And some of the things we can do in parallel. Like once CMCL will start with the application overall because Kubeflow consists six of different open source projects, right? I'm like curious. So that is why like I'm asking like from your perspective, what kind of timeline you expect
I mean,
to
it's not just V1, right? Like we do have CVEs
yeah.
coming out of our front end UI, and we expect that to be non-trivial to fix because it requires React upgrades that we are searching for commitments right now to like help contribute to, and
Yeah.
that requires like folks to contribute bandwidth. So, well, a
We
week
can,
is
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, another solution could be to just say in the budget, hey, like, we only confident about the SDK part of KFP and we're not confident about UI. So
Do we have, I mean, there's going to be audits, right, that eventually happen.
yeah, audit is, yes, that's right. That's right.
So I think a fair question is to ask, like, there's no point in we say yes now and then later we fail a security audit. You know what I mean? So like,
So
Is there
basically,
guidance from?
yeah. So I guess like what other projects have done before, right? Like, this is kind of self-assessment, and after that, security professionals will tell community what we should fix, right? It's not about
Okay.
failing with it, right? It's about like working with them together, right?
Yeah, I'm like fairly confident to sign off for backend for SDK.
Mm.
It's the UI that for this is for V2, and similarly well for I guess V1 SDK. I don't know, Alex, what do you guys feel like there? You've looked at it a lot longer than I have. If we feel like this is sufficient uh to if this is what other components have done, we can mention that specifically and sign it off. And I don't have a problem saying like it's met with that like caveat comment that like clarifies exactly what we're signing off to. That's fine. We can do that.
Yeah, so sounds good to me. It's hard to estimate the timeline for the V1 fix because retrofitting the CI is could take a week, it could take a couple of weeks. I'm also on support this coming week, so I'm gonna try to hand it off to a teammate so it doesn't stall while I'm on support. Um, but whatever it takes to facilitate, getting this badge and anything I can do to streamline that, please let me know.
Okay. I'll take a look at another. I'll message you, Andre, and let you know what I'm signing off to. And you can just advise
Yep.
going forward, like, okay, yeah, this is sufficient. If this is consistent with other projects are doing, then
Yeah, I think that'll be super helpful. And again, like on the scanning side, I would love us to, use the same tool because we need to do the same for Katib and for
yeah.
trainer model registry. I think, yeah, we need to find something eventually.
Is there a separate thread? Like, what is the action item there to resolve that?
Yeah, I think it's so this is separate from like the work we need to do to achieve the batch, right? Like the scanning, if we don't like Dependabot or like what we have right now with GitHub,
Mhm.
especially on the releases, right? Like if we find a tool that we can use everywhere, I would love us to, use it. So
Yeah.
mm, mm. maybe we can just open an issue in the community repo, I don't know, to talk about it. And then, propose some ideas, which tools we want to.
Issue for where we're making this issue. So this is since we're talking broad, like beyond
Yeah, we
just Kubeflow
can open it in the
pipelines,
community, right? Kubeflow/community.
Kubeflow community. Okay. And action item for me is uh, we can mark CVE as met for the areas of KFP where CVEs are resolved and note where they are. Okay. Yeah, just one consideration for the static analysis is that the best practices like does make suggestions on things like when you do release notes, you provide like what you did your static analysis, what the report is, and all that stuff. I think that's a really great idea. It would be good if the reporting kind of like streamlines that, so the tool helps with that, and also like I don't know, it's easy to add into CI and all that stuff, of course. So okay. Any other comments, questions regarding this topic?
No, thank you for this. I appreciate really your time, Alex, and for stepping up. Because I think we would really try to push it towards graduation, but I'd say like there are a lot of work which we really need to do to achieve it. So really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Andre. Appreciate it. I haven't had no choice but to work on the V1 stuff because our thousands of users are all going to get flagged with the CVE. And there's no way for us to take responsibility for it on their behalf. So there's like a bit of an internal fire on our side to address this as soon as possible.
Okay, let's keep going. Yunkai, are you
Yes.
around? All right, you have the next topic.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Yunkai, a Google Summer of Code contributor working on PostgreSQL integration for Kubeflow pipelines. The first item, the first proposal is that should we introduce a large text type for dialect-aware migration? The reason is that PostgreSQL and MySQL handle very large text columns differently, while MySQL use long text. PostgreSQL doesn't recognize long text. So the official recommendation from GORM version 2 is a method called GORM DB data type pattern for custom field types. So what I will do is model fields switch from string to large text, which maps to the optimal text variant per dialect. The impact is this will introduce a breaking change. The existing migrations, raw SQL may need updates and data backfills. So I need feedback on questions like, does this cover your large payload use cases? Concerns about migration complexity or backward compatibility, and also alternatives to GORM DB data type you'd suggest. I put this in the issue, and if you have any suggestions, please tell me. Thank you.
Just to clarify, the breaking change isn't actually impacting the user, right? It's impacting the developer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So typically when we, Yunkai, when we speak of breaking API changes, we're usually speaking of like user-facing API breaking changes. If it's like breaking API changes at the code level that the user is never going to see, it's really a non-concern. If we need to add things like, so I thought I left a comment on this, but I guess I didn't. But basically, I'm fine with introducing a new type to support this flow. And if that means that wherever we're using the string equivalents, we're using now this large text and we need to do some conversions, it's totally fine. There's no concern around breaking API there.
Okay.
Yeah, I plus one that, and then just for convenience, if you can just add like a toString method or something like that on the type, so we can easily convert back and forth.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You have some other points here about third-party extension breakage. Not sure what you mean by this, but nobody should be using those model structs outside. It's all internal code. So there shouldn't be any third-party usages of this code.
Yeah, I know it's a little confusing because like we have public interfaces and stuff in terms of public in terms of Go, but we don't document them, so we don't consider them public APIs. So
Okay.
hopefully that helps. But
I see.
For the third point, we will the unit testing and integration testing should probably be sufficient here for anything that's, if there's like something that's breaking because of JSON serialization or deserialization, unit tests should catch that. If you feel like there are gaps or like niche cases that we're missing, we can just add more unit tests there to like kind of strengthen our confidence there. Not sure what migration concerns would be here. Are you talking? Can you elaborate?
Oh, okay. Remains functionally similar. I think this is just it just means that the test for the MySQL need to be paralleled for Postgre.
I see. I don't know where the issue might be because folks would only ever well, I guess if people are migrating, I don't think we're going to be proposing migration scripts that migrate folks from MySQL to Postgres or vice versa. Matt,
so,
you have your hand raised.
You're not suggesting migrating from MySQL to Postgres. It's more just like the database migration logic that exists today. We just need to verify it runs on MySQL and Postgres, right?
You auto migrate.
That was my understanding, but
Okay, originally on my proposal for the GSOC, I proposed a migration tool from MySQL to Postgre, but if that's not very necessary, I'd like to skip it.
I'm fine with skipping it if it's a nice to have, but I don't know if I want to. I want the community to like maintain something like that either. This is very much a like DB admin concern in my opinion. I don't think this is a KFP concern. So
Okay.
yeah, I would say don't do it. And if someone asks for it, we'll consider it then.
yeah, well, how popular that ask is, but yeah.
That's why I said consider, not do.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Okay.
Matt, you any other questions regarding your topic or questions for Yunkai?
Oh no. No questions from me.
Okay, and we can also continue talking about this in Slack, but yeah, I think the takeaway is that you have a +1 with this proposal.
Sure.
All right. If you want to make this into a small KEP and make a PR, if you wanted to KEP into the repository, you basically made a proposal that way. So if you wanted to do that, you can. We're fine. If you don't want that extra work on your plate, then we can just close this out and I can comment like +1. We will proceed with this. So just more contribution points for you. Okay, let's keep going. Matt, you have the next topic.
Yeah, just a reminder that I have the model registry integration proposal kept up. It's been open for 3 weeks and gotten some good feedback from the model registry team and some folks from pipelines. But basically, if there's no other feedback, I think we'll just approve this by the end of the week. But anyone else that hasn't taken a look, I guess please do.
Do we have sign off from model registry?
Yeah.
Okay. I see
Mateo
Sydney.
and Sydney.
Yeah, the understanding here that I have is that you want to do it from the kind of like integration of the backend. So the only thing that sort of like I think is worth noting, and it's noted in the PR, I think that Sydney and Ramesh had the same comment, is that eventually you could consider to doing the analogously, making that available as a client in the pipeline code directly. So that will allow you to use the model registry Python client that we've been developing for a while. But I understand that for now you wanted to use like a direct integration from the kind of like the controller side of things. It's totally fine. That is up to your call. The only thing is that this will not allow you to leverage the capabilities that we are having indeed in the Python client. So that's only the only thing that it was worth noting here.
Yeah, and I think for this specific narrow use case, I think we're okay with that. But as if we expand the integration beyond that, then it's definitely something to reconsider for sure. So yeah, I again appreciate all the feedback you've given on the proposal, Mateo, and also other folks on model registry.
Mateo, I know you had a bunch of comments here. I don't see a specific look to me from you. If you're +1 for it, feel free to throw that on there. It
I-
sounds like you are. So just more +1s the better.
I think I did. Maybe it didn't show up, but I'll do it again.
Oh no, you did. You did it in a comment. Yeah, okay. You're good.
No
Ignore
worries.
me.
The thing that sort of like we notice is that there is a small typo that if you wanted to merge the suggestion, sort of like for the table, that's the only thing that I noticed. And sorry for the neat comment, but I just thought of,
Yeah, I did respond to that one. I took a screenshot of it rendering in the GitHub UI and it looks fine on my computer, but I think it's not showing up properly for you in Sydney.
Let's see. I'm
I'm
on
not sure
Firefox.
why.
Which one is it? Is it
It's
this
the
one?
ASCII diagram. Yeah.
interesting.
Looks good. My comment was that the arrow was reversed. He fixed that.
Yeah, and AI generated this, by the way, so I'm not offended if you don't like it.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. So please, if you have any comments on Matt's proposal, please take a look. Yunkai, you have the next point.
Actually, the it's about the refactor of list.go, but since you just mentioned it, this infactor will not, since this refactor will not impact outside users, so I can just go ahead and refactor it.
Yep, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, don't worry about breaking. I mean, obviously, if like the change is touching like hundreds of files, then it's good to get some feedback on it before you start doing that. But typically, it's more of a implementation like discussion, not a like user is impacted discussion. So yeah, don't listen to Alex.
Okay.
All right. I'm kidding, but don't listen to him in the last comment. All right. We're at the end. Anybody have any other topics that they would like to? I think we're actually 5 minutes over. So if you have a topic, save it for next time. Sorry for taking you all 5 minutes over. Remember, this call is recorded and will be uploaded.
Sorry, before we drop, can I ask a quick favor? Just sorry,
Mhm,
I know we're
mhm.
over time. I'm just like one of the tasks I only want to have from the pipelines team is to review self-assessment. So I really need your help to review the Kubeflow pipelines architecture in self-assessment, security self-assessment. I can link the doc in the notes, but basically I want you to review actions and actors that I added because I just have high-level understanding. I want you to actually take a look. Thank you. It's in a community proposal, basically. I will link it here. Thank you.
Yeah, please do. You can tag myself, Alex, and others as needed. Cool. Thank you. All right. So as I was saying, this call is recorded and it's uploaded to the YouTube playlist if you want to check back into it. Thanks everyone for attending. See you all next time. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.